added YouTube to it. Look, has it started? Technically, yes, but let me refresh. Hang on, YouTube peeps.
Yeah, hello everybody.
We're getting it together. Hello,
Yep.
hello. We're having a little technical difficulty, but we are getting it together
This
on
is how you learn.
YouTube. This is how you learn. Let me just message in the chat real quick to let people know. Tech difficulty for YouTube. Please hold. Okay. So let's see how this.
We're live on YouTube right now, baby.
We are?
We are.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah.
Like we're showing?
Yep. Oh yeah, my friend is texting in it right now, leaving comments.
Oh.
It's about 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10, 15 seconds behind, but
Oh, but
it's
they can see us.
yep.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll just cut that right on out. It's all it is all good. Okay. Well, I am super excited to have herbalist Cameron with us. And today we're talking about the 3 ingredient mineral formula every woman needs. So, hey, y'all. This episode is about to shift the way you see food, energy, and healing. We're diving deep with Cameron, a clinical herbalist and founder of Bio Minerals, to explore how one simple 3 ingredient formula can flood your body with all 102 essential minerals you're likely not getting from your everyday meals. This is very important because it's an opportunity for us to really learn what's going on within the body and what we need to do, especially as women, to ensure that we have the minerals that we need. Now, before we tune in, I want to talk about just not just fancy supplements or diet trends, but I'm really talking about the basic building blocks your body needs to work properly. Minerals help you think clearly, sleep better, balance your mood, digest your food, grow strong hair and nails, and even support your hormones. So, without further ado, Cameron, as we get into this, I would love for you to just share with us what led you to herbalism, and why do you believe now is the right time for women to really focus on herbs?
Thank you. What led me to herbalism, the truth of it is I had a very traumatic upbringing as a child with a lot of abuse and neglect. And with that came consequences such as Crohn's disease, endometriosis, CPTSD, and all of the symptoms associated with those. And when I finally, at the age of 21, removed myself from the environment that I was raised in, I could start to see things clearly and I started seeking help. I went to multiple doctors, counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, and everything that they gave me to help me made things worse. And I just quickly realized that that was not my path. And I remember praying one day in my early 20s, asking God, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, God? So I'm on the computer looking for something to go to school for, and CAM popped up, CAM. And I was like, hey, I'm CAM. What is that? And it was complementary and alternative medicine. And it was a university in Boca Raton, Everglades University. And I looked over their curriculum, their course material, and everything just felt right. So I do feel divinely led to that in a way. And as I started that school and as I started to learn about the body and what it needs to function and foods, I started implementing what I was learning. And I got within a year more relief than I had ever gotten from the medical system. So that's when I was just like, man, what we're being given, what we're being told is not right. And so many people are sick. I say it often that we live in a nation that is over medicated and undernourished. And I see the consequences of that every day. I saw it in my own life. I've seen it in friends and family. And now that I have a practice, I see it in people all over the United States. So I'm very passionate about bringing that awareness and education and showing people why and then how.
I love that. First, thank you so much for sharing that. do believe that a lot of us can relate to that, myself as well, where you're just not getting the answers that you're looking for, or you're being just blown off. And it's like, this is my life, this is my body, I know what I'm feeling. And for you to tell me that there's nothing wrong, it's just bizarre to me. One of the things that I love that you mentioned, though, was with Cam, you just took that next step. Can you share with us a little bit about the experiences of not just what you learned while you were there, but how you were able to apply it to your lifestyle now?
Absolutely. It was small, consistent steps. And that's what I tried to share with everybody. Small, consistent steps. I had been eating the way that I had been eating for a long time. I was also a student, putting myself through school, did not have a lot of money. So ramen noodles were a staple in my daily diet. So what I started doing was like, okay, I cut out soda completely. Haven't had one of those in 10 years. And started, instead of taking things away, I just started adding. Let me add some fruits in the morning. Let me add some vegetables for lunch or dinner. And once I could start getting in the habit of eating something nutritious every day, as time went on, I was able, okay, actually, I believe I got to a point where my body started to recognize the difference as well, is one of the reasons why I think stuff started to fall away. But it just did. I just kept adding and adding to where there wasn't space anymore for these things that make me feel bad when I eat them. So I think that was it. Just consistently making small changes.
That's actually a really good point too, because some people, they do believe that eating healthy is very expensive. And by you being able to apply this type of habit on a daily basis, but just with small increments, can you just share a little bit about not just how this has impacted your life by these changes, but how it's impacted your clients' lives as well?
I think that people who are starting to realize that they need something different get overwhelmed. And it is true. When we open the computer, when we open our phone, everything is poisoning us. Everything is toxic. We have to eat only organic. And there's just all of these, this long list of complete radical lifestyle changes that they have to do right now. And it becomes overwhelming, and they get discouraged, or they'll start something and then not be able to see it through, and then just give up because they feel so discouraged. So I believe that I call myself a holistic lifestyle advocate. I'm here to advocate for people, cheer them on, support them. And when they do, quote unquote, fall back, it's not like, oh, you messed up, everything you did is pointless now. It's just like, hey, it's okay. This is the society that we live in. It's really hard to these food-like products have been created to keep us addicted. They have substances in them which keep us addicted to them. So we can't beat ourselves up when we fall back into that. So I think that's why I have a pretty good success rate with people, because I'm not giving them some unrealistic plan that they need to start right away. Instead, we look and say, okay, soda is one of those things where I'm like, hey, if we could cut that out right now, that would be great. But it makes it more achievable for them.
Right. And speaking of that, I actually wanted to just dive in a little bit to some of our headlines, because what you were just talking about with sugar, and I know we were talking about this through email as well. And for those of you all who don't know, so in India, schools are now putting up sugar boards and running workshops to warn kids about diabetes. They're even changing the food in school cafeterias. And obviously with this, we want to make sure too that the sugar boards debut in CBSE schools as steady flags rise in diabetes among children. So Cameron, as someone who focuses on minerals and holistic health, what does this tell you about what kids today are missing nutritionally? And how do you internalize sugar and mineral depletion? How do you think this essentially correlates together and ties together?
So in my own practice, in the last 8 months, I've worked with 3 teenagers under the age of 18, all of which have been diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Oh my gosh.
And this is happening more and more. A lot of the foods that are marketed to children are loaded with food colorings and sugars and preservatives. And unfortunately, I do believe that part of this is systematically done to keep people consuming. While I do see other nations starting to rise up and change things, and there are nations where the food that we're sold here is not even allowed to be sold there. Unfortunately, I think that money and corruption is at the heart of it.
Oh yeah.
And there's only so much that we can do. But I think, helping the parents too, because that's another thing is when parents come to me and they're not feeling well, there's no way I could get my kid to eat this, and I have to make food
Right.
for the kids. So then just finding it is ultimately the parent's responsibility on what their child is eating. And if your child's already been eating like that for a long time, again, their brain is addicted to it. They will go through physical withdrawals and have outbursts and behavioral problems at first, if they're not already having behavioral problems from the food. So then just trying to make it more fun, honey is a great substitute. You can do a maple syrup, you can do things with it. But I do see, unfortunately, the disease rate for children in the United States is steadily increasing.
Wow. And, one of the things that you had shared too, first of all, when it comes to liver disease, like this is crazy. But one of the things that you were sharing too is like making the food just relatable to children. And one of the things that we actually do that has worked really well for parents who are listening, and maybe you have a child that's, for us, we have 8 and 10. So maybe you have a child in the home that's, preteen years or younger. But one of the things that we do is we actually make it fun through having them cook with us. So, we have it like, maybe Tuesdays is like a Taco Tuesday, and they're super excited about making tacos. And instead of using, for example, instead of using like random tortilla chips or anything like that, we actually look at the ingredients. We look to see, how many things it has in it, maybe like 2 or 3, and then we'll be able to use that. So what I'm sharing with you is this is a great opportunity for you to not just completely cut out the things that you're eating, but find an alternative based on the ingredients that's in it. I think that works really well too. So if you know that they love chips, it's not saying you're going to take away chips forever, right? But what are some other types of chips that they can eat that have just a better type of ingredient to it? And maybe they have less calories, or maybe there's something where they only have 2 or 3 ingredients in it. I think that is at least a better place to start instead of completely scrapping it altogether. That has really worked for us. Is that something that some of your clients do as well with children, Cameron?
Yes. Well, I will say most of the clients that come to me really don't even know how to read labels.
Okay.
But I do have, the people that I surround myself with in my community, and a lot of them have children. They are aware of these things, and they do cook with their kids. A lot of them make sourdough chips. In the community where I am, going to the farmer's market is very important for most people. We have a couple of them around. So also, and they take their kids there, and you can meet who's selling the food. A lot of these farms will allow the children and anybody to come to the farm and see the operation. So yeah, I think that's a beautiful idea. The only thing that comes to my mind first is teaching the parents how to read the labels, because a lot of people don't know that.
Right. No, that's super helpful. Do you have anything out there to help with reading labels, or is that something that
I'm working on some content right now. I'm just now really building my YouTube channel. I talk about it a lot when I educate offline. But also too, I'm really big on empowering people. We live in the age of information. So really you can just YouTube, like how to read labels. One thing that I talk about a lot, I've gone to assisted living facilities and like other institutions and taught this also, is when you're reading the label and it says sugars, underneath of that, it will say added sugars. And those added sugars are oftentimes the fake processed white sugar and I tell people, I'm like, okay, if that product that's this big says that it has 9 grams of added sugar, you have to picture that sugar before it's been liquefied and turned into syrup. And then picture that. And that's really how much sugar you're getting in this little thing. So I do teach a lot about it offline, but I'm working on online content.
I love that. Well, yeah, please keep us posted, because I think that's definitely something that our audience should obviously learn more of how to work with that too. Now, I do want to switch gears for a second, because I know everyone is curious about the 102 minerals. Can you talk a little bit more about what these minerals are, what the formula is, and why do we need it?
I will. One thing I like to say is every single body is different. So I do my best to not say that there's something that everybody needs, unless you're talking about magnesium chloride. Though I do feel that everybody could benefit from this if their digestive tract is clear and able
Okay.
to even process it. So when I work with people, if they're not going to be able to even absorb and utilize the nutrients, we have to work on that first. So I want people to keep that in mind with anything that they're taking. Is your body even able to use it? But this formula, I crafted it. I was just doing research online and found something that said, burdock root, Irish sea moss, and bladderwrack combined give you all 102 minerals. And I said, okay, let me see. So I went through and looked at the mineral contents and of each herb, and they do. And what these are, bladderwrack and Irish sea moss, are two types of seaweed, and they are loaded with minerals. And then burdock also, but more than just being loaded with minerals, they also, well, probably because of the mineral content combined, they give your body 102 minerals that it needs to thrive. And a lot of Irish sea moss is great. It only has 92 of the 102 that we need. And to me, it's just like dehydrated vegetables. But the importance of minerals is that we are hydroelectric beings. We are water and electricity, and minerals really help to serve as the spark plugs that help to keep the current flowing and keep everything from your nutrients to your oxygen to the water that your cells need to keep all of that flowing through the closed circuit that is our body. And because a lot of the food that we have is loaded with sugars and preservatives. Sugars strip our bodies of minerals. We are surrounded by so many things that strip our bodies of minerals because minerals work to bind to toxins and foreign things in the body and carry them out. And because we are bombarded by so many, most of our minerals are doing that. If you're on any pharmaceuticals, stripping you of minerals, antibiotics, perfumes, body wash, laundry detergent, and our soils, we should be able to get minerals from the food that we eat, but because of industrial agriculture and monocrops, most of our soils are also stripped of life. So we're not even getting it from the food, which is why I really loved making this supplement, and always I tell everybody, herbs work with you, not for you. Don't just take the supplement and think that you don't have to eat your vegetables because, these were grown in soil also. In which the herbs that I do get are tested and the soil is tested, and I do my best to only source herbs from reputable places with good soil, but you never really want to rely on just one thing. And now studies are starting to directly link type 2 diabetes and over 80% of heart disease to a magnesium deficiency. And magnesium is one of the all the minerals are important, but most of them need magnesium to do their job. And minerals really are on the rise, and more studies are being done to show depression, anxiety, fatigue, thyroid issues, kidney issues. I mean, you name it. So much of it is coming because your body doesn't have the nutrients that it needs to function properly.
Right. No, this is some powerful stuff too. How do we get a hold of this? Like, is this I know you source it yourself, but say we're not in your area, like how can we make sure that we're
I ship it all over the
Okay.
United States. I can ship outside of the United States, but it costs anywhere from $30 to $50.
Okay.
And what I do is I source these herbs, I dehydrate them, I grind them myself, I pack them into the capsules myself, because that's another thing. The supplement industry, I feel, has been corrupted also. And a big thing that I like to bring to people's awareness is when you are getting, like, let's use turmeric as an example. When you are getting a turmeric supplement from the grocery store, if you read the back of it, it will oftentimes say turmeric extract. And what this means is they have isolated certain constituents from the turmeric root and concentrated it down. That is making it more drug-like. Plants are communities, and they have all of these constituents that all work together to produce the physiological effects in your body. And just like humans, when you take these constituents away from their communities and isolate them, they behave differently. Right. Now, with the turmeric extract, I've really seen the consequences in the elderly population. I have seen men and women's kidneys start to fail, liver problems start to arise by working with turmeric extract. Whereas, so I am really big on using the whole root or the whole, leaves and flowers, depending what plant I'm working with and for what reason, because then you get it might not be as strong and potent. I guess it is definitely as potent, but you're gonna cut the risk of side effects.
Right. No, this is great. So just walk me through this for a second. A client from an online perspective, a client hops on a call with you, they have the conversation to see what's going to make the most sense for them. It may not necessarily be that right away, right? Because you have to make sure that their body is able to be accustomed to that. How do you, that would be my first question. How do you know? Like, how would they know if their body can even handle it?
So some of the signs that you can look for is, for instance, if they're not having regular bowel movements,
Okay.
or if they're bloated all of the time, or have gas, or heartburn, or acid reflux, or if they have skin eruptions or acne and pimples. What that often signifies is your body's not able to eliminate toxins properly, so they're trying to express themselves in any way they can, and our skin is our largest detoxification organ. So questions like that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then once you get that under control, how long does that normally take, just on average, before you can move on to the actual 102 minerals?
So again, every body is different, and it also really depends on how serious the person is about their health,
Okay.
because it's really challenging to get people to even keep a food journal or bring awareness around their food or become disciplined in what they need to do. So the people who are really like, you know what, I'm ready, I'm tired of feeling like this, and they start eating well. I have a liberation formula, and some certain different formulas depending on the person to cleanse out their large intestines, their liver, their gallbladder. Usually within a couple, 3 to 4 weeks. What I'm looking for is, okay, you're having regular bowel movements for 2 weeks. Every day for 2 weeks, you've had a regular bowel movement. What signs and symptoms was that person experiencing for me to come to that conclusion? And have we seen a shift in those signs and symptoms? So it could be anywhere from 2 weeks to some people 3 months.
I love that. I'm just looking at the comments here. So Marco said, since I started eating right, my life has completely changed. I feel more energetic, more focused, and most importantly, at peace with myself. That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Awesome. I'm looking at the comments as we go. No, this is great. So um I definitely appreciate this, Cameron, because I do believe that there's so many people out there that just don't have this information, or they're bombarded with so much information they don't even know where to go or who to turn to. So I certainly appreciate you sharing this with us. Now, could you just share a little bit about if anyone was looking to connect with you further, what does that process look like? Um, and how can we get a hold of not just the minerals, but you as the connector? How can we get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So you can go to communitynourishment.org. That's my website. You can subscribe to the email list. I have contact information on the website. You can email me at communitynourishment@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram with Community Nourishment. And once you get a hold of me there, if I offer 15-minute complimentary phone calls. So I can give you my phone number, or you can ask me any questions that you may have. I think those would be the best routes.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for this. If anyone else has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We're monitoring the chat and we're happy to answer any other questions that you may have. But in the meantime, Cameron, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence today. We surely appreciate you and all the work that you're doing. And we cannot wait to see more of you and your community.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.